Hello and happy Friday. I hope this finds you well, and I hope you had a great week. To outsource or not to outsource our investment management? That is the question we're going to be talking about today. And this is one of the most common questions we get. Is it really worth paying an advisor to manage my investments? What we see on average is a typical advisor charges about 1% per year to professionally manage your investments. Now, Vanguard, the king of do-it-yourself investing, put out a white paper called Advisors Alpha. And what they attempted to do in this white paper is to put a value number on the benefit that you could potentially get from working with great advisors who follow certain best practices. And what they found is that these advisors who follow best practices can add 3% or even exceed 3% in net returns just by working with them. Some of the ways that they found are through behavioral coaching, which is huge, and we're going to talk more about that in a moment, rebalancing portfolios in a disciplined fashion, and lastly, help with smart spending strategies and distribution strategies. In other words, which accounts should we pull from first when we go into the distribution phase or the retirement phase of our life? So let's talk a little bit more about the behavioral coaching piece, because again, I think this is huge. And I can share countless examples, but one that I read about recently was the CGM Focus Fund, which was famous during the lost decade, which was from 2000 to 2009. That was when the S&P 500 was basically flat over this 10-year period. And this fund was famous because it was the best performing mutual fund over this time period. The fund's average annual investment returns were a whopping 18.2%, but the average investor in this fund average returns were a terrible negative 11% per year. So why the difference? The fund did great. Why did the average investor do terribly? Well, it's called human behavior, and our minds try to play tricks on us and make us think that we can try to time the market. And that's exactly what happened here. So bottom line, I'm biased. I fully recognize and admit it. But in our experience, it is well worth paying a great advisor to professionally manage your investments to save you meaningful amounts of time, worry, energy, record keeping, and maybe most importantly, to coach you out of making great human behavioral mistakes, not once, but several times over the course of your investing journey, because our mind is programmed to keep us safe and prevent us from losing money. This is human nature. Human nature is a failed investor. So I would argue the value that a great advisor brings to your life is multiples of what he or she is charging you. Thanks for taking the time to watch this. Have a great weekend, and I'll see you back here again next week. Take care.